Hello, everybody. Megazord X here. I'm back at it again. Not to give y'all another episode review because last week I actually dropped my last episode review over Doctor Stone, that being episode 24. If you missed it, you can click that card in the corner. Check that one out though. But for today, you know what? I can't say goodbye to Doctor Stone like this. Like I just can't let that episode 24 just be my last one. So with me today, I got my boy Jony. Go ahead and say hello.
Hello guys, what's going on? My name is Jony and today I'm here with Zard.
Alrighty, and today I'm just gonna basically just have like a casual conversation with my boy over here, and we're basically just gonna break down the whole entire Doctor Stone anime for what we've been watching for like the past 6 months. If you've been watching it week to week, and yeah, we're just gonna basically go through here, just talk about some of our favorite characters, some of our favorite arcs, go through some personal polls that y'all have submitted to us, as well as just like a big overall one that I managed to find as well, and then just talk about some other like little nitpicky things about the anime, as well as answering some questions that some of y'all may have had along the way as well though. But yeah, you about ready, Jony?
Yeah, I'm ready, so let's get on with the last Doctor Stone episode.
おはよう世界 Good morning world 地上に変えていくオルセイ一歩ずつ石を浮かぶようなこの歩みで世界を広げよう
Alrighty, so for this final discussion video, we're going to start talking about the characters first. So we know that, Senku has done a lot for this anime. He's the main MC and everything though. So I usually like saving the best for last. So we're going to talk about almost every single character first, except for Senku, but we'll get back to him at the end after we're done discussing all the characters. So first, we're going to go ahead and talk about Taiju. Now, at the very beginning of the anime, we basically had Senku, Taiju, and Yuzura. Like, that was the original trio. And, from the very get-go, Taiju was the very first person that Senku managed to bring back into the Stone World. A very good friend of Senku, who was a really good childhood friend. Everything, for the most part, this dude was pretty cool. I mean, he didn't have, he didn't have the brain power like Senku did, but he definitely had the muscles, and he was doing like a lot of different work and stuff around his camp and stuff. And overall, I thought he was a pretty good, solid character. Not the brightest kind of dude, out there on the block though, but I really like the dude's motivation and stuff. What did you think about the character, Jony?
So, Taiju was the first character that was actually introduced to us. In the first episode, he even appeared before Senku. I don't know if you remember that. But in the first minutes of the anime, Taiju was actually the main character instead of Senku. And even after all of that petrification thing, I still think Taiju was a very important character because he kept the anime from being just a boring science class. And it was really fun seeing Senku and Taiju hanging out together and making all that science stuff. And I think that Taiju being all that cheerful guy was actually really great to the anime as well. Because it gave it a little comedic aspect. Instead of being just like seeing Senku high IQ science stuff, you could actually see Taiju being all like, oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I think it was pretty interesting overall. So why don't we move on to the next character, Zod?
Alrighty, and so, hand in hand, you had Taiju along with his girl Yuzura, and it was kind of funny, because, Taiju, really liked Yuzura in a lot of different ways, though. She was pretty sweet, humble, kind of down-to-earth character, though. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go ahead and start off with her little character breakdown, Jony, and then I'll go ahead and respond to what you have to say.
Okay, so, Yuzuriha was just a sweet girl that Taiju liked. And at the start of the anime, she was really just the girl that Taiju liked. But it was also the main reason for Taiju being able to stay, how do I say, alive? During all of those 3,700 years. And we really saw Taiju's determination on that. And when Senku and Taiju revived Yuzuriha in a couple of episodes in the anime already, she turned out to be a really sweet girl, and she actually had some... They revealed her past with Taiju, and they were a really sweet couple. And she was also a... How do you say it? Like, she was on a club. I forgot what it was.
I'm trying to think. But I'm not sure exactly kind of like what angle you're trying to come from that one though. But
she used to be on a club that did all of those like
a science club. You kind of thinking, or
no, not science. It was I forgot what it was. Maybe I know she was on a club.
Maybe you'll think, or maybe it'll come back and hit you whenever I give my little 2 cents about her though. But
okay.
But with Yuzura, I have to say, you know, thanks for like reiterating that, because with Yuzura, with Taiju, she was basically his number one drive for a good chunk of it. While she was petrified, and whenever they actually found her statue, and they kind of brought it back to their base camp though. But then they needed to figure out exactly, how to bring Yuzura back though. But when she was back, she was definitely like a different, a breath of fresh air, because at first he had these two dudes, and with no kind of woman input or anything like that. So there was like a whole bunch of testosterone kind of running around with those two. So I think adding her into the mix would kind of help equal out and kind of balance some things. So that was just something I kind of really liked about her though. But overall, she's just pretty sweet. In the grand scheme of things, she might have not been like the most important as we get down to like these other characters that were in like a whole lot more episodes than her though. But she definitely was sweet, definitely was kind of strategic at times though, but definitely kind of kept Senkun and Taiju's kind of kept their heads kind of on the swivel, and just overall just had a great team balance though. But I don't really have too much more to say about Yuzura. Did you have anything else to say, Jony?
No, that's basically it. The only thing I wanted to say behind was that she was a tailor on a tailor club or something like that. I don't remember the name of the club though.
Okay. Alrighty, so that's basically it in terms of like our intro characters that we basically had towards the beginning. Now we are, missing out on like one big character though, but I'm gonna save him with all the other people that he wound up associating himself with later in the anime though. So we'll come back to that main number one antagonist though. But then we'll jump over to the first person that Senkun managed to run into in terms of everybody that was living in the village, and that is Kohaku. I definitely say she is the number one best girl in this anime. You can't convince me otherwise though. And I'm gonna have to put my 2 cents in here first, Jony. So overall, Kohaku, she's this bad mama jamma woman. And I mean a woman at heart, but she can do some things. Like, not only does she look good and everything else, and she seemed pretty sweet and innocent whenever they first had their little encounter with Tsukasa and everything, and how she basically was able to come to Senkun's need and stuff. But this woman knows how to fight, and fight, I dare say fight, because man, she's basically the one that basically kind of, in terms of like all the different warriors and stuff that they sort of kind of have in the village, she's definitely the one that's kind of like spearheading that kind of charge though. And then she's always the one that was always assisting Senkun whenever he might have had like a scientific thing and he needed to go get XYZ or something like that. She's the one that definitely had the mind power along with the brawn. So she had a really good balance of both. So she was like a very capable character that could do a whole bunch of different things. And I'll be here all day talking about Kohaku though, but I'm gonna have to cut it short though. But what do you have to say about this character, Jony?
I just gotta say, first of all, when Kohaku first appeared, she might be a woman, but she had the balls to fight Tsukasa face to face. And dang, that's the thing you don't get every day. Jesus. The guy is like 3 times bigger than her, and she just went all out, just like,
and she had a tiny little knife out of all things, and this dude had like a big old freaking
She had
spear.
like a tiny knife, but I guess she was better equipped than Tsukasa anyway. He was barehanded, Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Jesus. The guy is muscled as heck, and you just jump over him, and you're like, I'm gonna defeat you.
Oh,
I mean, I didn't know what she was expecting, but yeah. Talking about Kohaku's character overall, she is definitely a great girl. I'm not gonna say she isn't. But I definitely disagree with you when you say she's top one girl, because everyone knows that best girl is Rudy.
Hold your roll right here. Like, we take one character
Just get
at a
the
time.
sauce,
One character
man.
at a time. And no, you're wrong. You can't say that on my channel. You're wrong. But go on.
So yeah, Kohaku was a very important character. She was very useful to Sengoku, but even like if we exclude the all being useful or useless thing, because I mean, she's a great girl. She's a great character. Her desire to help her sister was really what moved one of the arcs. That was the when Senku tried to capture the villagers' hearts and help Rudy get healthier. And I think it helped a lot in that question, so it was a really important and great character to the story. I'm gonna agree with you on that. So why don't we keep going forward?
Alright, so I pretty much summed up Kohaku pretty well, though. And now we got to move on to main science user number 2. So we originally had Senku as, the main science dude number 1, though. But Chrome over here, oh gosh. Alright, so at first, I sort of kind of felt mixed on Chrome because, with Chrome, he was basically trying to use science to a degree, but not actually know what science is. And, granted, that kind of made sense in the grand scheme of things because the fact of the matter that, this dude didn't know nothing about science. These people were kind of pretty secluded off, and they didn't have, the human interaction with other people outside of their tribe was very limited, or actually extremely limited, because they didn't allow anybody, any kind of outsiders, even if there were any, which, that was like rare in a dozen if they actually did manage to have an outsider, though. But they didn't allow anybody inside that village, though. But basically, Chrome was the one that was basically gathering all these different kind of rocks and all of these different kind of elements and stuff. So that way, whenever Senku did manage to encounter him and see what all he had in his reservoir, it was able to help Senku's help his development in terms of making whatever they needed to do that was scientific. And Chrome, man, this dude, oh shoot, man, I don't even know what to say about this dude because he's pretty funny.
Jesus.
And oh gosh, like
the dude just throws a little powder on the fire. It makes a color, and he's like, "Oh, what'd you think about that, Senku? I threw some powder on the fire, and it made a color."
And that was the thing because Senku
Jesus.
always tried to he always tried to one-up Senku, and as you mentioned with that powder and fire thing, but then Senku's over here is like, oh, that's XYZ, and Chrome's like, oh, so you already knew about that, well, let me do such and such and such, and he's like, no, I already know that. And then Chrome's like, oh, later on in the anime, he's like, I came up with a brilliant idea of making the water wheel, and it's like, yeah, that's hydroelectric power. And he's like, dang it, he's like, no matter what I could do, I can't beat this man, though. But it was kind of funny to see that, though. But I think that kind of went hand in hand with him and Senku and kind of playing off of each other, because honestly, when you're dealing with scientific stuff, you can't really do it all by yourself. So it was really good that he sort of kind of had like a protege, or kind of like a partner and stuff in terms of him being able to do this certain stuff with. But yeah, what did you think about Chrome?
I mean, Chrome is a really excellent character. You just said it all yourself. Like, it was great to have Chrome together with Senku, because, I mean, Chrome is like the new generation of scientists that is forming up from Senku. He's becoming the Stone Age scientist. And him being Senku's friend, he's like a disciple of some sort with Senku. And it was great to see him, also because his personality is really funny as well. He's always like screaming and all, because he's always very excited, and I find that amusing. Yeah. And talking about how the village interpreted science before Senku came, they called it sorcery, and Chrome was a sorcerer. But let's be honest, the main difference between Chrome's sorcery and Senku's science is that they didn't know how to explain sorcery. Because sorcery was science, but without the explanation behind it. It just happened out of a sudden. So it was funny to see Senku actually explaining Chrome how things worked, and Chrome understanding that everything that he had done and that sorcery could do, science could do the same, but even better. So it was a great character overall. I like Chrome pretty much, I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, and it was pretty good just kind of seeing him overall and stuff. But yeah, I honestly really like this character, but I don't think I have any much more to say about him. Did you?
No, I think we can move on with the next character.
All right, so next we have these the two bros of the village, Kimro and Gimro, and I say I'm gonna probably go ahead and tackle Kimro, and then I'll let you, Johnny, I'll go ahead and let you tackle Gimro. So starting off with Kimro, Kimro's like the older bro out of these two though, and I gotta say, oh shoot, with this dude. Okay, this dude, all right, he's basically kind of like a warrior. He's sort of kind of in that same kind of a camp as Kohaku, and he's basically kind of like the watchdog in terms of, you know, seeing people kind of go in and out of the village, whether or not they can, you know, have entrance to going over that bridge or not. So it's basically it was him and Gimro there for the longest time though, and this dude can fight, and we saw when in the Grand Bout tournament. This dude really could fight, and he was super capable though. But the thing that really hindered this dude was, matter of fact, that his eyesight was super poor, and you know that kind of hindered him and stuff like that though. But it was kind of great to see whenever they did have that one little mini arc, whenever they actually was able to create glasses and stuff. And you know, like some of my best favorite moments from Kimro was definitely during that Grand Bout tournament though. But the matter of fact that how he was able to smack around Magma and, you know, give him what for though. But overall, you know, there was a lot of different comedic effects that was going on between Kimro and Gimro. More so Gimro than Kimro though. But overall, I pretty much like this character. I don't think there's like too much more to say about him though, but he definitely kind of provided like a different kind of a mix to this overall village people though. But I'll let you go ahead and break down Gimro, Johnny.
Jeez, you're leaving me to the little girls art, because Giro, I gotta tell you, he is so sketchy. He's even more sketchy than Gen. And Jesus, his personality, you could say that he's a funny character or that he's an horrible character, because I think he goes both ways. He's technically another guard of the bridge with Kiro, but he's the type of guy that if he finds a hiding spot, he will rush to it and just keep hiding until the end of time. Because Jesus, Giro is afraid of so many things. One thing that I might highlight about Giro is that he did fight against his fears. And in one of the episodes where they were going to grab the sulfuric waters or something like that.
That sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid.
Yeah. From a little pool that was in the volcanoes, Giro was able to gather the courage to go with Senku and Chrome, and I think it was his most courageous moment in the anime, because besides that, he has just been used as a comedic asset to the anime.
Purely comic relief.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that he's like a bad character, but he definitely doesn't have a good personality. That's for sure.
Yeah, and he was sort of kind of mixed though, but I think that definitely played within his character though. But overall, it was still funny to see him in all of these episodes. You never knew what you were gonna get with this dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's purely used for a comedy in the anime. He's not... Jesus, how do I say that without sounding very aggressive? It's because I don't like Giro at all. I mean, he's just there to make people angry. That's all there is to it. So why don't we go ahead and go to the next character?
All right, and next, oh shoot, oh man, this character, oh shoot, Suika. She did a lot more than what you think a typical young little girl like her could actually do for all the things that Senkun and his little group of friends were trying to do. I mean, it was from the moment of facts of her finding materials for these other people, having her and since like aspiration and motivation to help the group keep going, whether it was her detective work, kind of rolling around in that head thing though, and oh goodness, there was just a lot of different things that this girl provided to the table though. But the one major thing I wanted to note on this girl was when she took that helmet off, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl looks super sweet and super adorable. And that was before we knew that she needed glasses, and she made that twisted little sour apple face. And that mess was pretty funny though, and I was like, oh gosh though. But there's just a lot to talk about this character though. But Johnny, what do you have to say about her?
I just gotta say, I gotta say one thing. I ain't no lolicon, but Suika is a damn great girl. Jesus, she's so sweet. She's such a sweet girl. She's always ready to help on whatever she can. It's like if you have a personal mate or something, and you ask them something, and they are always ready to help. She's sweet. That's all I have to say. And dedicated. She's really dedicated.
Yeah. And
I also have to say, one of the moments I enjoyed a lot about the second part of the anime is when Senku gave Suika the glasses, and she finally saw for the first time, and I shed a tear. Because imagine what it is to not being able to see your whole life, and then just out of the blue, you just get an explosion of colors.
And that was something that I really wanted to iterate on as well. And it's a good thing you mentioned that though, because that was a really relatable moment for a lot of people in the world. Because a lot of people don't really have good eyesight. Me, I'm in the same boat as her. I remember I was in like either the second or the third grade when I started noticing, from like where I was sitting at, I was either mid the classroom or sort of kind of, I might have been closer to the back because they kind of they had everybody in order based on last names or whatever though. But I remember there was one point where I was like, wait, I can't see word crap on that, it was chalkboards back in the day. Wasn't no whiteboards, but on those chalkboards. And I was like, what the heck? And then, I remember going to the eye doctor and whatnot. I was like, man, I can hardly see anything on these letters or whatever though. But then when I saw these glasses, I was like, whoa, what the heck? And then years later, after I've been wearing glasses for a long time, it was like close to high school or something, junior high school, something like that. And I remember sticking contacts in my eyes for the first time, not having to wear glasses. I was like, oh shoot, this looks a whole lot different though. But yeah, that just made Suika even more relatable, at least with me. And I don't know about other people that, might have, vision problems though. But yeah, that was a really relatable moment for me though. But outside of that, was there anything else that you had to say about it?
No, I basically said everything I had to say about Suika. She's a really sweet girl, and yeah, that's about it.
Alrighty, and then we have a couple or a few more characters, at least within the village arc left. So these ones I feel like it might not take as much time to kind of go through though. But oh gosh, we gotta talk about Rui. Because Rui, oh shoot, with Rui. Man, this girl is so sweet, humble, down to earth. A central key plot in terms of no, she is not. I'm sorry, second best. Maybe third best if you put her underneath Suika though. But Rui was very key and central part with those 100 tales that basically Senkun's father gave to her, and they passed that down throughout all the different generations though. But for the longest part she was always sick, and it was Kohaku that basically was the one that was trying to help motivate, use this as a sense of motivation to help her get better, because her dad just basically quit and said, you know what, I feel like you're gonna have to be the next one, Kohaku. But she was like, no, I'm not gonna be what could be potentially the next village chief after all of this crap kind of goes down within all of this, because, or the wife of the village chief, so to say though. But So that was what kept, Kohaku kind of pushed forward though. And for the good long chunk of the Kingdom of Science arc, they were trying to make that antibiotic for Rui though. So overall, it was pretty sweet. It was really nice to actually see her, once she was healed and stuff like that though. But that's pretty much all I have to say about Rui, at least at this time. What do you have to say, Jony?
I just gotta say, in disagreement with you, I gotta say that Ruri is best girl, and I ain't taking any other answer. So don't Zard. Let's start with Kohaku getting soaked, right? Because I think that's pretty funny. But
all right, go on.
So talking about Ruri is, as Zard said, it's a very sweet and humble girl. Also the priestess of the Ishigami village, and she keeps with her a huge secret about the Ishigami village that are the 100 Tales. That is very helpful to the story because it helps us understand how the village was created and why the village has the same name as Senku. So overall, talking about the story of the anime besides the 100 Tales, Ruri, when she got healed, it was really funny because Senku became the village chief and he was supposed to marry Ruri. But in the same instant that they married, Senku just said, "Nah, I'm out of here. I'm not getting married. Goodbye, village."
And I told you about that mess. I told you he was gonna win the whole entire grand bout, and I told you he's gonna divorce that girl. And you said, "What? What? They don't even know about divorce." I was like, "Watch you." I'm like, "This man's gonna pull this mess out of his back pocket," and he did.
Well, I mean, Ruri even said she was the first divorced woman of the Stone World. And it was really funny.
And if you think about it, they weren't that many people there, and they had to keep their population up. So divorce wasn't up for debate for a lot of them. So that was pretty funny to actually see it play out, though. But go on.
I mean, the only one losing there was Senku because, dang, if I could marry a girl like Ruri, I would go all the way. Jesus. Dang, Senku making some poor decisions.
No, but it's good because Kenro is the one that really likes Rui, and that's the one I'm really rooting for. But it's a good thing that he basically shot that thing down though, because Senku seems more like a Kohaku's kind of type. Even though I don't feel like the anime / manga would not even probably go down that route though. But it would have been interesting to kind of see it though. But go on.
Yes, that's all I had to say about Ruri. I just want to enforce again that she's best girl, and nobody can tell me otherwise. But yeah, that's all I had to say. So,
alrighty, so moving on before Jony over here spreads any more false propaganda against that second or third best girl in the anime, we're gonna move on to Gin. Now Gin, oh shoot, okay, so basically this dude was actually associated with Tsukasa at first, and he was basically on their side because he basically brought him back from him being petrified and stuff, thanks to that revival fluid. And we'll talk about more about that stuff whenever we kind of get towards Tsukasa's kind of description and stuff about that though. But overall, this dude originally was on the bad side, and he was the first person to get swayed and get brought to the good side. And it wasn't, matter of fact, they held anything against him. It wasn't, matter of fact, they gave him death threats. No. This dude came over here purely because he got to have a ice cold bottle of cola. I was like, dude, you're my man. I was like, that's my boy right there. Because I was like, man, I don't care who you are or what team you're on, whether you're good or bad. If you can provide me with some Coke that I hadn't had from a long time since, the modern era coming down into the Stone Age, boy, you got my vote. So I already knew that Gin was going to be, he wasn't going to be no shady bad character. I knew he was going to be cool with me, though. You can see this as, as first whenever he seemed to be sort of kind of sketchy, and then he started getting, later into the anime where he was purely on the good guy's side, and Oh gosh, I gotta talk about that little beatbox moment though, because that little beatbox moment that he did with that little pseudo kind of halfway rap. Oh gosh, that mess was funny, and I was definitely not predicting that. And I was like, what the heck is this man doing though? But overall, he basically played on a sort of kind of a comedic effect, and he was sort of kind of like the bridge between the bad and the good, and and he was basically playing spy for a good chunk of the anime though. But that's all I gotta say about Gen. What do you have to say about him, Jony?
I mean, starting off with Gen, I just have to say something that I don't guess many people actually know about. But as a mentalist, and as shown in the anime, Gen was interested in Senku and the Science Kingdom from the moment he was in Petrified, because he saw that Senku had written on the wall the exact time that he was in Petrified. So I don't really guess Gen was anytime like really in the Tsukasa Empire. I think Gen had already ideas of staying with Senku, and he used like his turning from bad to good as an excuse to getting a bottle of cola. But Senku gave him the bottle of cola wholeheartedly, so...
And that was the thing with Gen, because I think he said in the anime, he basically said, hey, whichever side offers, the most incentive, like what's in it for me, so to say. Sort of kind of that selfish attitude though, but what can each side bring to the table? And he was like, if one side can bring something more,
I don't think he was really like that. I think he just said that for the saying, because I think he was interested in what the Science Kingdom could do. He was not in that of like, oh, what can bring the best for me. I think that was just him talking out of his mouth.
And that was probably the other thing though too. As a matter of fact, he still had to say somewhat sort of kind of loyal to Tsukasa at first, because think about it, Tsukasa, that's a, I'll get to his description whenever I get to it though, but Tsukasa was, a threat not to, be, not to joke around with. And, Gen played his wrong cards, he probably could wind up being dead if he definitely showed he was going to be with the science people at first. So I think that was probably kind of played into part of his personality at first, even though he might have been a little bit more pro-hero than pro-villain, there was some risks that he has to also associate with. But I think that's about it for Gen, and we're almost done with.
No, I have to say something.
Okay. Go ahead.
The best thing about Gen was Gen's rap. Gen is an actual professional rapper. Add that to his profession. He's not just a mentalist; he's a goddamn rap god.
Oh my!
Because
goodness.
Jesus, when you do zinc carbon batteries, you have to do a rap with them, or else it doesn't get well done, because Jesus.
Yeah, that moment definitely caught me off guard, and I was like, oh shoot, I was like, man, you never know what you're gonna get from this dude though. Overall, he was pretty funny. He definitely brought a lot to the table. Definitely brought a lot of different twists and kind of plot twists and things of that nature though. But overall, he was a pretty good, cool character and stuff, and overall, I really enjoyed him. Hey everyone, Future Megazard X here, and I'm here to let y'all know that this part for this whole entire talk about the characters part of this whole entire Dr. Stone series was so long that I'm going to have to basically split it up into two main parts, so that way, it makes it easier for y'all to be able to watch the whole entire thing though. So this was just the first half of the thing, but make sure to tune in for the next part of this series where we start up our round 2 discussion part over the rest of the Dr. Stone characters, so make sure to stay tuned in for that though. But yeah, that is all for this first part round discussion. So remember y'all, until whatever video I make next, see y'all.